What's up, Basketball Brain fans and members? What a game last night. If you guys haven't watched these highlights, you got to watch them. What a performance by James Harden, who's looking like the MVP to me. Also, some major clutch shots. Plus, Clay, Steph, and Durant played well. So the four of the biggest stars in the game, all played well. I hate when I watch a game and the best players don't perform. Well, they all played well, basically from opening jump to the end of the game. And Harden has just been spectacular. We'll notice some things in this game regarding his body language that I really love about Harden. And we did another video about being smooth on offense. Well, if there's anybody who's smooth on offense, like really fluid, I think we got to put Harden in that category. Sometimes he's a little too smooth on defense, which doesn't always help him and can be a major Achilles heel in the playoffs. But for the most part, on offense, he's flawless. He's one of the best offensive players I've ever seen. I'm going to put him up there with this run. Maybe he hasn't done it as consistently over his career as someone like Kobe, but he's up there with Kobe. You guys agree with that? I mean, what he's doing right now, just with more three-point shots, of course, doesn't really have a post-up fadeaway game, but he can do it. He can do it. The shots he hits over people are really fun to watch. He just nails a lot of shots right in guys' faces. And I'll tell you something that you can do to start to be able to do that. It's called the 3 dots drill. Now, it's in the full program, but I'll tell you about it here because it's something you can start doing today. And what you do is you go onto the court, stand about the three-point line, top of the key, and look at the center of the hoop, okay? If you look at the center of the hoop, just focus on that like an eagle locked onto its prey, okay? So you're focused on the center of the hoop. You're just standing there. You're not doing anything. You're literally just looking at the center. And then what I want you to do is switch your vision to see the entire floor. So try to lock on the center of the hoop. In your mind, switch and see the whole floor. And then switch back to the center of the hoop and keep doing that. From, you see both corners of the three-point line to the center of the hoop. You can your peripheral vision to a laser focus. And you keep doing that. You switch from in to out, from locking on to a wide vision. So I'll say lock, wide, lock, wide, lock, wide. And every time I say lock, I teach my eyes to lock on the center of the target. And what you're doing by giving your mind these verbal commands on top of just training your eyes is you can start to use this when you're using the shooting program that we have on the website called the Lock Arc Swish. But for now, just know that as you're shooting, you can be dribbling, okay? So you can get a ball and start dribbling, see the whole floor, say wide, wide. And you're seeing the whole floor, and then when you pull up to shoot, you say lock. And you teach your eyes to lock onto the target. Now, when James Harden shoots, you'll notice he locks onto the target, and it doesn't matter who's in his face, doesn't matter if there's a hand there. So another thing you can start to do is have a teammate, or you can do it to yourself, is as you're locking onto the center of the target, wave your hand in front of your face. Put any distraction there you can, and train yourself to stay locked on no matter what's happening. If you have a teammate, have them push you a little bit. When you're shooting, really focus on locking onto the target and having somebody hit you or touch you or getting a hand in your face. I have a product coming out called the In Your Face, and it's this hand it's a headband, and it gives you the feeling of a hand in your face while you're shooting. So you got to check that out. It's coming very soon. I had one version of it a few years ago, but a new updated version's coming. And the reason you want to use this product is because it's going to feel like a hand's in your face when you're shooting alone. One of the things that used to bother me is when I was practicing by myself on a court, I had no defense. And the best thing they have today is you put up one of those little guys, the little like stationary guys, and you run towards them and shoot. Well, when in the game do you run at the defense and shoot? The thing I created, it goes on your face and it kind of follows you around like a defender. So that'll be ready very shortly, and I hope you guys take advantage of that because it's a way to get used to shooting with a hand in your face. But again, do these drills so you're locking onto the center of the target. And you'll notice Clay does it, you'll notice Durant does it, Curry does it. When they lock on, they lock on. The defender's hand doesn't matter. Some of the shots that Harden hits are the result of somebody who's spending a lot of time in the gym. You don't get this good without so much practice. So much practice. But the two things that stand out to me when I watch Harden, well, three things. Number one is the smoothness. Very smooth. Who's going to deny that? That's pretty obvious. Number two, the way he locks onto the target, and you can't really break his concentration. And if you have good concentration, it also means you have great composure. So Harden has a great composure to him. So when you put together composure, it increases your concentration level. And as you concentrate more, it increases your composure. And when you combine concentration and composure, it increases your confidence because you start to make more shots. So these things feed on each other. And when you watch an MVP caliber player, you see somebody who can concentrate throughout the entire game, concentrate in a lot of different ways. They can concentrate on making the shot. They can focus. They can concentrate and block out anything on social media, what's going on outside the game. And by being able to concentrate and focus, that naturally calms you down, gives you poise. So you're watching players who have an immense amount of poise in crunch time, in every big game. And then when it is crunch time, they have the confidence that they can perform. So they become clutch. And then when you put all four of these together, when you have concentration, you're composed, you start developing confidence, you start making shots in the clutch, then you start doing it consistently. So these 5 C's are kind of like a fist, and they come together. And when somebody has these 5 C's going, watch out, because they become a fist and they start punching the game, so to speak. They start knocking out their competition. And Harden has these 5 C's. And of course, confidence and concentration and composure is coming from your work ethic. It's what you're doing in practice. That's the foundation upon which your poise, your swagger, your focus, your crunch time heroics, and your ability to do it constantly and consistently, game in and game out, comes from practice. It's the law of hard work. Everybody talks about the law of attraction. Well, really, the law of attraction is just a tendency. And it stems from, number one, having faith that things are going to work out your way. And number two, making sure you're abiding by the true law of the universe, which is the law of hard work. At least the true law of human endeavor. It's the law of hard work. And as you work harder, you tend to attract better games. You tend to get lucky breaks in the game. You tend to get rolls on your shots. You tend to, like we always talk about, the more you practice, the ball starts coming off your hand a little weird and it still goes in. You start to get lucky breaks. You start to attract success into your life. But that, to me, in my experience, typically only happens after you've abided by the law of hard work. So remember that. You know, I had the opportunity to watch James Harden one time go through a practice session. I didn't get to talk to him, but I got to watch him work out. And I've seen a lot of NBA players work out. And they all work pretty hard in practice. You'd be surprised how many NBA players don't really work on their game. You really would. I have a few connections to the NBA, and I have a lot of connections to overseas players. You'd be surprised how few overseas players work on their game consistently, night in and night out. But when you get somebody like Harden, I mean, look at that shot. Beautiful shot. When you get somebody like Harden who's as big as he is, as quick as he is, as coordinated as he is, and he works like somebody who's, you know, a 6-foot non-athletic person. When he's working like that, that's when you get the legends of the game. That's when you get the Jordans, the Kobes, the LeBrons. They're working as hard as somebody with no athletic ability. And when talent like that works hard, really you got to watch out. But when I was watching Harden, it's amazing that the difference between someone like Harden and then another really skilled NBA player working out is there's nothing extraneous in his workouts. Everything is geared towards what he will do in the game. It's geared toward making sure his shot stays consistent. So there's a lot of fundamental work, but everything is geared to effectiveness. John Wooden had a famous quote. He said, "Don't mistake activity for achievement." When I was in high school, a lot of my friends used to come to the gym every day. They'd play pickup games. A lot of them, they never got any better. It was an activity. So you have to achieve something when you're playing a pickup game. It means you have to get in the gym, get shots up, and work on your weaknesses during a pickup game and during scrimmages. And you're always trying to improve because that's achievement. When I was watching Harden, his entire practice wasn't activity, it was achievement based. And the achievement was making slight incremental improvements, nuancing his game every single day. And then once he developed a skill, what we talked about with lucky bounces, the more you practice that, I'm not going to say it's a lucky bounce, but the shooter's touch comes into play more. Sorry to get off topic a little bit. But when you watched Harden, he would get his skill to a certain level. I mean, that little step back shot, he can't really improve on it. So the game then becomes, how consistently can I make those shots? How consistently can I do it? And Harden was just really focused as he was working out on making sure he did everything technically right. And what's really interesting, I heard a story about George St. Pierre, the MMA fighter. If you don't know who he is, you can YouTube him, GSP, that when he worked out, he didn't work out, he would spend so much time on one move, making sure it was just technically right. The same with Khabib in the MMA. I study a lot of these guys. I mean, look at that shot. Great shot. I also study a lot of guys on the PGA Tour, and I study a lot of guys, CEOs and salespeople, and how dedicated they are to getting the details right. They do not just show up and then for the day kind of wing it, decide what they want to do. Instead, what they do is they make sure they have a plan. Every time they go to the gym, when you watch these guys, they're recording everything. When you watch these guys work out, golfers, they have such detailed plans for their practice sessions. And so many amateur players, so many guys that have these great dreams and goals, when I meet them, they have no plan. They just show up to the gym and think, I'm going to get some shots up. That's it. Even now, when I go work out, I have a routine that I've done for years, and I know it like the back of my hand. I've done it so many times that I don't even need to, in the moment, write down my makes and misses. I can just remember the numbers as I do an hour workout, afterwards write them down. But I've done it so many times, I know what my workout is, and then I can just remember in bunches how many I made out of 20 shots, how many free throws I made. And that's actually on the site, BasketballBrain. It's the 500 shot workout, but we have a 250 shot version. And it's a really thorough way to work on your offensive game, to work on your ball handling, to work on your shooting, to make sure you're working on bank shots, off the dribble, fadeaways, etc., etc. So it covers everything. When I watch Harden, when I watch Curry, I got a chance to watch Kobe work out once. It's detailed. There's a lot of details in there, and they're covering every aspect of their game, and they're looking for efficiency. And it's really the difference between, it's one of those key differences. There's probably 20 key differences between rare successful people and people who just don't quite make it. And that's in everything I study. Let's watch this clutch shot by James Harden. People in his face, but he locks on the target and he doesn't deviate. He locks onto the target, doesn't deviate. Fire in the eyes, great body language. He's still in the game. He's telling them we still got 1 second left. Let's deal with this. KD almost makes this too. I mean, for that heave, that's almost a make. Anyways, guys, that's some of the best basketball you're ever going to see. Really, that was just a display of displays. You got a game-winning shot from possibly another MVP run by Harden. KD played well, Clay played well, and Steph, of course, played well. Fun to watch and see that. Let me just finish up by finishing what I was saying before Harden's game winner came on. There's like 20 key differences between rare people and average people. And that seems like a ton, but it's not. Because as you practice, as you get better, those 20 things become part of who you are. You just show up to the gym and you get a very detailed plan when you start working out. You show up to work and you have a plan for the day. You wake up in the morning, you have a plan for your day. These changes, they seem like a lot at the beginning, but as they become integrated into who you are as a person, it's easier to do. I'll give you an example. I'm going to leave that in there. That's my alarm going off. It goes off every 15 minutes. And every 15 minutes, I check my body language, I check my self-talk and I check my mental images throughout the day because your mind starts to drift. I always bring it back. Every 15 minutes, this phone goes off. My girlfriend wants to kill me. People around me want to kill me. And what I'll do every 15 minutes is I'll do some push-ups. I'll change my body language. I review my number one goal really quick with a powerful image of it. And I make sure I feel it. I don't just go through the motions with this. So there's little things you do to start to change your mind, change the way you think. Take your phone out. I'm going to do another video on this, but give you a head start on it. Set your phone for every 15 minutes and monitor your body language. I'll slap my chest and I'll say, come on, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I'm unstoppable. I'll say that to myself 5 times, and then I see in my head what my main goal. I see it big, bright, and bold, okay? Anyways, I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but want to give you as much information that can actually help you. I know you listen to a lot of channels and they tell you stuff, but it just seems like motivation. I try to give you real things you can do that will really help you. Actual drills, not just motivation. Talk to you soon.